Well, I think I'll continue. The last sentence that she said was that this whispering become my passion. So actually, I'm going to talk. I want to divide this session into two parts. The first part, I like to speak about the future, and the second half, I like to speak about passion or desire. Okay. Actually, future is a passion for me for the last, I think, 20 or 25 years. I read it, I investigated, and my PhD is actually about the future of the education. And personally, I'm coming from the high tech, so initially I thought that when I went into the education field, I thought that technology will resolve everything, okay? And this is where I came from, okay? Of course, it took me a while to understand that this is not the issue, and but I still think that the technology will make a change. So I will start speaking a little bit about technologies, and I want to start with 3 examples. The first one is let's imagine that this glasses has a camera here and a earphone, and when I wear it, it's actually see what I see, hear what I hear, understand, and can speak to me, okay? Now it sounds maybe science fiction, but actually there are many products like this. The most famous one is Google Glass, but almost every company today has something like this. It's still not in the level that I will describe now, but this is the direction, okay? So let's assume that I'm a student in the class, and a teacher asks me who is Herzl, okay? And I, as a student, have no idea who Herzl is, but my glasses hear this question, and they whisper to my ear, and I say it to the teacher, give the answer to the teacher, and she asks me something in consequences, and I can answer everything, of course, because I have this head. And you can imagine that I'm an excellent student. I answer all the questions that I have been asked. But there is one slight flaw in this scenario. Actually, the teacher spoke with my glasses. She didn't need me. More than that, I don't have to remember the answer, because I don't have to think about it, because next time that I will need to know who is Herzl, I will get this answer again. So exactly as today you don't bother to remember the telephone numbers, okay? You know that it's there, it will appear whenever you need it, okay? You don't bother to calculate how much is 7 by 6, okay? Because you immediately take this calculator and exactly for that reasons, the students will not bother to learn the knowledge that we are teaching them today, okay? So this is one example. Let's park it and return to it later on, okay? Another example. There is an Israeli startup that took a very high resolution camera, 360, and they put it in the a court of basketball court, okay, mainly in colleges in the US. And they teach this camera, or the application that behind this camera, they teach them to understand the game, okay? So whenever the ball is coming to one side, they know how to follow it, and they know whenever there is something special, they know how to rewind it, slow motion, etc. So instead of needing a whole group of people, editor and I don't know, all the people, that the director, etc., this camera is doing it by itself. So actually, they create the content by themselves. They don't need anything. They just put the camera there, and they can actually broadcast the game without interference of anyone. But this is not the nice thing about this story. They taught this application basketball, but then they found out that the camera or this application understood they learned themselves for, I don't know, hockey or other games that they were there, they didn't teach it, okay? It's called machine learning, and it's there. Now, take this, and this is something that exists already, installed in campuses, mainly in the US. And now take this one into the virtual reality world, okay? This capability of creating content by the machine, okay? And now I want to teach the kids about, I don't know, Napoleon, okay? And this device or application or whatever know how to look in the internet and create scenarios. It's not movies yet, okay, about Napoleon. And now I'm, as a student, go into this world, in a virtual reality world, and can be in Napoleon era there, can speak with Napoleon or his, I don't know, minister of whatever, okay? They will be able to answer me, to create a movie around it and to answer questions that are related to the subject that I'm learning now, okay? So, one, we will need the virtual reality world to be much more advanced and with a better resolution. Let's wait 10 years for that, okay? And the other one is to create a content, because today, in order to create a 3D content, it's a huge amount of money, and it's only one stream of script, okay? It's only one script that we created. Or today we have some that have like 4 or 5 different scripts in the same movie, but this is it. So think about creating the content by a machine. Okay, so I can teach them anything that today in the internet can be created as a content, as 3D content, and the student will be able to learn with them. And the third one is just a thought. Okay. I just recently returned from a year of a tour that I did. It's adventure, okay? I actually go on a motorbike from Alaska to Argentina, okay? 6 months out of this trip, I were in Spanish-speaking countries, okay? Nor me or my spouse speak Spanish, okay? We know how to order in restaurant. This is the maximum that we have. And initially, you know, we were like a tourist, so speak with one-word sentences in order to... But then we find out that we can use Google Translate in order to speak. Seriously, we can... and you know, when you pull it out and speak in English into the machine and it speaks in Spanish, and the other side see it, immediately he took his telephone and started to speak in Spanish to him. And very soon we found out, and this is the first time that I did it in a trip, okay? I like to travel, it's not my first one. But we find ourselves speak with people that know nothing about English or Hebrew, and we go to a level that we didn't imagine that we can do in a foreign country in a foreign language. Now, this is something that we have today. It's not for the future. But take this application a bit. I don't know, 5 years, and it will be in my year. And I will speak in Hebrew. Okay, this is as you can hear, my English is not so good, but my Hebrew is a little bit better. So I will speak in Hebrew, and the person in front of me will hear in his earphone whatever language he's speaking, okay? And why I'm saying it, because today, if you're looking in the hierarchy of subject that we're learning in school, it will probably start with math and science, okay? The next one will be language, will be English, okay? This is assuming that they know Hebrew, okay? English will be, is one of the most important subjects that we are teaching in school. But in 5 years, or maybe, well, I'm very optimistic, so I tend to do it shorter. Maybe it will be 10 or maybe 15 years. English will not be a barrier anymore, okay? You can speak in your language with anybody, anywhere, and you don't need to speak to know English. So English will be only for people that really like to read the Shakespeare in the original language, okay? Or, I don't know, I have my I don't know how to say it, the father of my son's wife, whatever, okay? He retired and he learned archaeology. And he said that he stuck after he learned a little bit, he stuck because he need to know an ancient language. So he learned some, I don't know, some ancient local language, but this is it. This is what will happen to all the languages. Every country will speak their own language, and all the rest will actually understand and will be able to communicate with them. So let's take again the 3 examples that I gave, okay? The first one, you remember, what was the first one? I spoke about the glasses, right? The glasses that can be, today 85% of the time that we are spending at school in the classes are knowledge transfer, okay? We transfer knowledge to the students. 85%, at least in Israel, okay? There is a research done by the Ministry of Education. If this scenario that I described with the glasses will come true, okay? 85% of the time that we are spending today will be obsolete. We don't need it, okay? Because he have it automatically without doing anything. The one with the English is clear, okay? A core subject that we are teaching today may become obsolete, okay? So actually what I'm trying to say with these examples is that if we are looking to the future, probably we need to teach them something else. Okay, something that we don't do today, or maybe we do in the rest 15% of the time that we are doing today. And now, until here, I hope I convince you that at least we need to think about it. Maybe it's imaginary, maybe it's long term, but at least we need to think about it. So what? And now I'm coming to the second part. I told you the first part will be about the future. Now let's speak about what we need to do today. And what we need to do today is to teach the students to be passionate about whatever, okay? But to be passionate, okay? It's called, in psychology, it's called inner motivation, intrinsic motivation, sorry. Actually, when somebody doing something from intrinsic motivation, he get many things that we want to teach them. I'll name some of them, okay? He can become curious about, you know, what's happened. He become creative, criticize, self-motivated, work, learn by himself, etc., etc., okay? So probably what we need to do is to teach the students to find something that they are passionate about it, and if they will do it, probably they will develop all these characteristics or skills that we want them to have, okay? Now, it's very easy to say, okay, teach them to be creative, teach them to find, etc. It's very easy to say. It's hard to do, and this is why probably we are not doing it today, because if it was easy, probably. So, Uri sits here, and myself actually sit and discuss about it about 7 years ago, okay? The stories go like this. We are friends from 4th grade, which is like 60 years ago, okay? And about 6 or 7 years, I used to live in Hungary for work, and Uri came to visit me, and we went to the Alps to climb the mountain. We came to the Alps, and it was really pouring. The rain was couldn't leave the car, so we sit the first day, go back to the hotel the second day, and on the third day we start to speak, because you know we mail need 3 days in order to start talking with each other, okay? And actually, the discussion, at that time I did my PhD in futurism, and we start to speak about it, exactly what I just told you. I told him the stories and what we are doing, and the era of post-knowledge, etc. And we come up with this idea that, okay, let's try to make the students meet with people that have passion to something, okay? And let's do it on a regular basis. So maybe the students, after a while, start to ask themselves, what is my passion? What do I want to do? But not in a matter of what I want to work when I will be grown up. What I want to do now with passion, what I like to do, what is interesting me, etc. And we actually come up with this idea of Nitzotzot. Nitzotzot is sparks in English, okay? And we come up with this idea. About 6 months later, from this meeting in the car with in the rain, 6 months later we had. I retired because of that. Came back to Israel, and we built this organization. We had a school. We have the approval of the Ministry of Education. We have the first school, and we start working. Today, 6 years later, we have about 5,000 volunteers that are coming and meeting with the students. We have every week we meet like about 6,000 students across the country. The way we are doing it is like this. Okay, when we go to a school, we actually work. We are part of the curriculum, the regular curriculum. Okay, so there is math, there is English, and there is Nitzotzot. Okay, so the students meet actually every week somebody that they choose to meet. So what we are doing is we divide the year into a 4 weeks period, okay? In the beginning of each period like this, four weeks, the student got a list of volunteers in different subjects. It could be a carpenter, and it could be a football player, and it could be a brain surgeon, okay, whatever, okay? So they get this list, and they said, okay, I want to see these ones I'm interested in, and we create groups according to this, small groups, maximum 15 people, and the volunteer going to meet with them for 4 consecutive weeks. Okay, so they have 4 meetings with this guy, okay? The first 2 meetings, he will tell them about himself, because when we are talking about inspiration, the person behind it is very important. It's very important what he succeeded with, his failures, how he came to it, what drive him into it, what he think about the future of that, etc. So this is in the first 2 meetings. He speak about himself, and he also speak about the subject matter. Okay, whatever it is. Okay. In the 3rd meeting, we are going out, okay? We are going to the place that generally his sparks happening, okay? So if he is, he like dogs, he will take them to place where you keep dogs, okay? And if he is, I don't know, working in the television, he will take them to television show and show how it's worked from the behind, etc. Okay. Just yesterday I were in a school where a carpenter did it, and they actually in this day they created some furniture for the school, and the schoolmaster showed me in proud, look what they built, etc. So the idea is actually to feel it, not just to speak about it, but to feel it. Okay. And in the 4th meeting, they actually the kids present this spark to the other kids. Okay, so they have the ability to show what they did. Okay, so this is the idea. It's happening every week, the whole year. The students meet these volunteers week after week, and we hope that eventually some of them will start to think, what do I like, and start to work accordingly. There are other, but my time is up. So thank you very much.